Now, residents of Ganga village on the outskirts of Daura town along the Daura-Katsina road are calling for help 3 years after their farmlands and residential plots were taken over by the transmission company of Nigeria, TCN, without compensation. The 25-hectare land initially acquired for a proposed solar electricity project in Daura was taken over without explanation, proper documentation, or any commitment to compensate the affected landowners. Abdullahi Yamadi visited the disputed site in Ganga village, Daura, the headquarters of Daura local government area of Katsina state, and sent in this report.
The land at the center of the dispute is not just fenced. It is already fully demarcated by TCN, giving residents the impression that the takeover was final long before any conversation began. The 25 hectares contain about 400 plots and farmlands owned by roughly 100 people. Many are retirees and low-income owners who saw this land as their safety net. For 3 years, they have been asking TCN to either compensate them or release the land so they can continue using it. They say the long silence has pushed them into economic hardship, especially as prices rise and incomes shrink.
We want government to look and intervene in this situation to see people are being compensated, because almost 90% or 99% of these victims are masses, those who are retired and some who are lower earning. They sacrifice all they have and buy this pollute. Some have started even constructing their buildings, and yet from all these years since 2021 to date, nothing has been made. So we are praying for the authorities to look into this situation.
My plot belonged to an orphan I'm taking care of. I acquired the plot for her and I intend to support her start a new life. Secondly, the girl is in secondary school. She can get married anytime after her secondary education. We appreciate the State Commissioner of Lands and Physical Planning, who has been supportive to our cause.
We used our retirement benefits to buy these plots. I bought mine so I could resell it when my daughters are getting married. We appeal to Governor Diko Umarurada to intervene and rescue us from this situation. Residents say they have spent years writing letters, visiting offices and seeking intervention, but nothing has changed. They describe the experience as frustrating and familiar, pointing to other unresolved disputes involving the same company, including the Kancho community case, which still lingers without closure. Their hope was recently lifted when the Katsina State Ministry of Lands opened communication with TCN. But they say they need answers, not promises. In Nigerian law, citizens have the right to own property, and no land should be taken without due process. Here, residents say no process was followed, just fencing, demarcation, and silence. Daura-based legal practitioner barrister Abdullahi Sabiu says the landowners deserve clarity. He explains that ceding and fencing land without documentation or compensation puts the owners at an obvious disadvantage.
This procedure really offends the provision of law. So it's not in tandem with the rule of law. It is not legally exercised. And even though the people of this area are friends of the government, they don't want to join issues with the government. They are only doing this to bring to the notice of the government so that the government can do the needful, to consider their right, to consider their interests, and do what behoves on them in accordance with the law.
Residents warn that ignoring due process in land acquisition creates unnecessary tension and breeds distrust, especially in communities already battling economic hardship and insecurity. They call on authorities to step in quickly before the dispute escalates. Abdullahi Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.